back again. Before we get started, you need to hit the subscribe button. Like, likes and comments help a lot too, but you don't even need to hit the notification bell. I mean, there's a lot of people watching and not a lot of people subscribing, so I need that to happen because I have certain goals I need to hit to run polls. So just it's free. You don't have to do anything else. Just hit the subscribe button and it'll help a lot. But this is actually still Magic Live. I'm just going to be doing the deck tech online because it's going to be easier for people to see until I figure something out a little better with the live ones. But this is a Hollow Vine. I did a Magic Online one with this, and I wasn't very impressed. I didn't like it. This is a deck I really enjoyed when we had Faithless Looting. Probably not getting that one back, but it was a lot more consistent, even though the deck is inherently high variance, but like tries to use it to its advantage way. But it's a ton of fun. I mean, if you like turning guys sideways, if you like seeing big numbers on the front for very little to no mana cost, hasty things, this deck might be for you. If you also like just the fun of the randomness, mostly involved in this card, Burning Inquiry. The draw 3 and discard 3 is good for the deck's synergy, but the fact that it makes your opponents do it, it can be mean. And of course, it can hurt you, but I mean that's part of what you do when you play a deck like this. So, what is a deck like this? Well, this is nicknamed Hollow Vine, and it's obviously based on the cards Hollow 1 and Vengevine. So I'll briefly go over that. It is an aggro deck, but it's not just your typical 1-drop, 2-drop removal spell attack. It's got an interaction it's trying to abuse. So it's trying to abuse drawing cards and discarding cards to its advantage, mostly to get Hollow One in play, because it says whenever you cycle or discard a card, it costs 2 less for that turn. So if you discard 3 cards, it costs 0. And casting a 0 mana spell is really good with Vengevine. So if you can cast 2 creature spells and it's in your graveyard, from drawing and discarding, it comes back into play. So that's pretty sweet. And those are both 4-power creatures. So Flamewake Phoenix also has some power, some synergy with 4-power creatures. And so there's a couple of those in there. Another big upgrade to the deck since Faithless Looting was banned was Ox of Agonis. This kind of replaced, what was that card? Hooting Mandrills. It's a 4/4 for 5 and a green with Delve and it had Trample. These cards don't play exactly the same, but the fact that this card has card advantage built in, and you can cast it from your graveyard, which is the more important thing, makes it, I think, the clear winner here. And it is also 4 or more power for the Flamewake, so all those kind of work together. But the biggest new card is this one, the card that no one can pronounce. I sort of replaced Flameblade Adept in the 1-drop slot with this card. Flameblade Adept was the 1/2 with Menace for a red, and whenever you discard a card for the turn or cycle it, it gets +1/+0 till end turn. That card had a lot of potential for huge, big game point swings early in the game if it worked out, but it just wasn't that good of a draw later. This card is always a 3/3. It's a little harder to cast, but eh. And if you're not familiar with this card by now, I mean, there's been a lot of content done on it, but it's a lot more powerful than it looks. So sacrificing 2 foods to deal 6 damage to a creature, like to kill a Primeval Titan, that's a big deal. And the cookbook, while it's not like super powerful by any means, it's fairly synergistic with the deck. And the fact that you can sacrifice food to gain life usually doesn't matter, but it makes the burn matchup not so bad. It's got like intrinsically built-in mechanisms to gain life, so that's pretty cool. I've never actually used its bottom ability, but it's there. So we're not abusing the cookbook with the Daredevil or anything like that. It's just like an extra synergy engine, and it makes this guy as a beater, I guess it's a girl, also interaction, and it's fairly good interaction at that. Another big upgrade, which I'm so glad we finally got, was Blazing Rootwalla. I wanted Basking Rootwalla in this deck for forever, but I'm like, oh, they'll never do it. And then honestly, they give us a better one. It only costs 1 mana to activate, and it's a red card. It's perfect. Perfect. So I'm really happy to see that. The rest of the deck is pretty much unchanged. We did lose Looting. Merchant of the Veil is not nearly as good. But, the fact that it's a creature that you can cast later is not bad for Vengevine. And so that's one thing. So notably, the differences you'll see in this list, if you happen to watch my Magic Online video, which I'm sure I'll do another one eventually, is a couple of differences. One, I took out the Burning Tree Emissaries, which were still good with Merchant and getting Vengevine to play, and I put some Furies in, and I like this card. This card is still a 0 mana creature when you evoke it into play to cast your Vengevines, and the interaction's not bad. In fact, Fury's the only of the evoke cycle in the new set. He's the only one that, even though you're going down a card to take one of their cards out, so you're 2-for-1 yourself like most pitch cards do, since you can arc the damage, you can be at parity on cards, or even go up if they have like 3 cheap guys in play, and then you kill all 3. You're actually up a card in that exchange. So I actually really like Fury in the main board, and I went up again on a Goblin Lore. I think that was the other change, and I added a bunch more fetches. I don't have these on Magic Online, but they make a difference, especially for Ox of Agonis. So that's pretty much it. The only other change is the Foundation Breakers. I put that in because, again, Evoke works well with Vengevine, but I haven't used it in this list yet. The sideboard needs a lot of work. The sideboard I was not impressed with. I didn't get a chance really to use Flame Blitz. Grim Lavamancer was the only obvious, like, it actually did things. But Obsidian Charmaw and Alpine Moon are good, but they don't work all that great together. Maybe Charmaw just needs to come out, I don't know, but like they're kind of a non-bow. But I mean, that's pretty much the deck. It's not easy to play. It is tricky, like knowing exactly how to sequence the draw and discard to generate the largest advantage. And aggro decks are not as easy to play as they say, especially one like this. But I mean, that's enough for now. I don't want to be too long on the deck tech, so I'm gonna get straight into the coverage. Okay, if this is the first time you're joining to see this, this is just live recording. I don't even call it coverage, but it's live recording of me playing at my local weekly events. This is Modern. We play on Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm mostly just recording on Tuesdays. And this, it's not live in the sense that it was streamed. It's just I just recorded the games. And last time I did Living End. And if you missed that, make sure to check it out. Actually, it was really cool. But what you're seeing on the phone, the number in the middle is the game we're on of the match. Now, fortunately, we had 19 players show up, and I got the bye. So usually that's a good thing, but not in this case. So luckily, a friend of mine, or a fellow player, finished their match fairly early and offered to play. So that was kind of cool. We don't quite finish it. We get to game 3, and we have to end a little early, but we'll go ahead and go over it anyway. So I am playing the Hollow Vine list, and I believe I am on the play. Whoopsie, reveal the card there. I think our opponent is on Grixis Shadow, or some new variant of Grixis Shadow. I know that deck has evolved a lot from its original version with a lot of new and very powerful upgrades. Whether or not this is the right one to be playing is still up for debate because the set is so fresh. It looks like he's just going to be opening on a turn 1 Ragavan, which is arguably the best turn 1 start in Modern at the moment. I do begin the game with an Insolent Neonate. Now, Insolent Neonate in this deck is interesting because it's a creature. And whether or not playing it on turn 1 is correct is often not the most obvious. I do it often because I like the ability to sacrifice it doing a discard draw effect with no mana spent on turn 2, because it greatly increases the chances of getting Hollow One, and more importantly, getting Hollow One triggering a Vengevine. However, Insolent Neonate being a 1-drop also is good at getting Vengevines into play without considering Hollow One, because it's a creature putting the Vengevine into play, and you just need one of the creature. So it's not very obvious, but I was clearly going for that play. Now, he did not want to risk Insolent Neonate blocking Ragavan, because Ragavan is just so much value when it connects. So he's just like, bolt it. And it's like, well, I'm going to do this anyway, so even though I'm doing it on their turn, not toward the Hollow One, still just going to ditch it and draw a card. It's an easy trade when it comes to a Lightning Bolt. So he attacks with Ragavan, it's going to connect, and just a land, so not the worst. Now, this deck only runs 17 lands, referring to Hollowvine, and it gets flooded all the time. It just sees so many cards. It's crazy. An interesting thing, obviously, Death Shadow decks always intentionally lower their own life total. But against a hasty Vengevine deck, that's always a little risky. But all things considered, he just plays an untapped land and passes. I mean, that's kind of, I don't want to say suspect. The only really thing he could be, representing here is Fatal Push of any consequence. But I don't know if they even still play that counterspell anymore. I'm forgetting what it is off my head at the moment. Oh, there's another Neonate. Stubborn Denial. The card is stubborn to remember. All right, so got another Neonate threatening a Vengevine turn here. Um, looks like it's not obvious what I'm supposed to do. Having a little bit of a discussion. Okay, so we do get a Vengevine. One more 1-drop. Let's get it. Let's get it. Vengevine is a beady boy. Interestingly, Vengevine is still very boltable. Ah, nothing. Oh, wait, unless I have a Root Wall here. See, like, this is where Root Wall is just so good. The card is so good. But doesn't look... I think I would have slam milled it, right? Yeah, I guess I don't got anything. Not the best start. Not the best start. Already down to 15. I think there's only one fetch. Oh, and a Street Wraith. So Ragavan reveals another land, Copperline Gorge. So good for me so far. There it is, Dragon Rage Chandler. Another very powerful 1-drop from Modern Horizons 2. I don't know if I can go over all the cards if you don't happen to be familiar with them. Just you'll probably have to look them up on your own. But Dragon's Rage Chandler, it's like the new Delver. It's pretty strong, especially in Modern. You can actually consistently get it to a 3/3. But its other ability is what makes it so absurd. It Surveil. So the game is progressing. Both decks are very low to the ground, cheap spells, but there's not a lot of interaction from the Hollowine deck, so it's not looking so great. It looks like he still has at least 3 cards in his hand, and I've only got maybe 3 or 4. I might be up 1 card because I'm on the draw, but all Ragavan really has to do is hit 1 spell, and he'll be on parity with cards and up a land. The magic card you're seeing in play is a food token, because at the time, I think both this round and round 2, I didn't actually have a food token, but there's some kind of discussion going on. Not entirely sure if I need to be skipping ahead here. I think they're just making sure. I think we're making sure the life totals are correct. Yeah, I think we're just... It's the only thing that makes sense here, I guess. Oh, no, okay. So he's explaining what he wants... Okay, so I activated the Underworld Cookbook, and then he's responding to it by destroying it and dealing me 2 damage. And it looks like I actually didn't catch what I discarded there. Oh, I think it was an Asmorano, that long, unpronounceable card. So the fact that I'm discarding that really suggests to me that I've got another one in my hand, because that seems like a really good card here. Like I could discard another card, untap, discard, play it, kill one of his creatures. Seems pretty good. But he uses Kolaghan's Command to take it out, get me about halfway dead, so game's not looking so hot. He's got 2 cards left in his hand. I still hit my 3rd land drop, and I have a Burning Inquiry, so it looks like I really want to reset my hand here. And this is symmetrical, so spinning the wheel, as they say. That's just part of the deck, and it is definitely fun to play. I would almost never take a deck like this into a big tournament that has several rounds. Not that I can't win. It's just not something I would trust myself to play well. But it's very fun to play locally. I like rolling dice. I feel like it's a little more random than people just pointing at cards. But yeah, I guess you can do either one. So we're agreeing on which card is 1 through 4 or 5, how many cards in your hand, in the order to roll the dice. So we agree on the 3 cards. Looks like I discard Oxvagonus, land, and Insolent Neonate, and he discards Death Shadow, Ragavan, and one other card I can't really tell. Maybe a Lightning Bolt. So I'm choosing to shock here, which is interesting. What would I need the green mana for? What would I need the green? So the deck plays 3 mountains, and it very rarely needs green mana. So I'm really not sure. I must have either the mountain in my hand, or I must have discarded it, but I don't see it in the graveyard. But it looks like I'm just casting Ox of Agonis. Which seems like a good play. Down to 8 though. Oh no, it wasn't an Asmor. It was another Phoenix I discarded earlier. So drawn to, I saw 1 Blazing Root Walla, and some other cards. Didn't really catch them, but got a blocker. Got a 5/3 blocker. When you escape the Ox, it does get a +1 counter. And as soon as he hits Delirium, which there's no way he doesn't already have, that Channeler will have Flying. And I'm already 8, so it's pretty scary. Thoughtseize. Okay, I reveal Vengevine, Root Walla, and Merchant of Haggle. That's usually what that card is. Merchant of, I forgot what it was called, Merchant of something. So he discards that because it's the only really card that does something while it's in my hand. Seems pretty good. Now those other cards are kind of stranded there. But it's not looking so great. He still has a card left in his hand. Bobble will draw him an extra card. And he has 3 mana. Don't know how this game's going to be winnable. I'm trying to remember if I do win this game, to be honest. I don't keep that much mental notes of my games. But so he's bobbling me because he surveils enough anyway. And I think he's trying to debate, does he attack into the Ox? Because if his card is an interaction card, it could be worth getting the Ox killed, because it would be kind of hard to cast him again without exiling the Vengevine. So I snap block the Ragavan because I'm pretty low on life. Oh, he's got Teamer Battle Rage. So if he Teamer Battle Raged his Channeler, he would have dealt 6 damage to me and put me at 2. But since that's not lethal, I think he just wants the Ox gone. So I find a cookbook, which is okay. It's a way to put like Vengevine in the graveyard and stuff, but not super great. Now I do still have a food token. That face down magic card you see there's a food token, so I can sacrifice that and gain 2 life, which would help me from being dead. He has a lightning bolt in his hand, so he's revealing that to me, saying, "Hey, I got you." I'm like, "Well, I got a food token here," and I'm counting to see if I can play Ox, and I'm actually 1 short, and that's including getting rid of the Vengevine, which I'd prefer not to do. But looking pretty. He's representing 6 damage right now, and I'm at 5. But if I crack that food, I'll be at 8, so I will be alive. But then he'll have the lightning bolt in his hand for something else. So I know he has lightning bolt. I can't really afford to change my play. Okay, he puts Luris in his hand. I end step discard, make another food. Burning Inquiry. Okay, so that's going to help put 3 more cards in my graveyard, so that's nice. So he just bolts me now. That's fair. He doesn't want to put himself in a position where he discards the bolt and then he doesn't have enough to kill me. Because I think I was still at 5, right? Yeah, so that seems pretty smart, even though if he ends up discarding the Luris. And he still has a treasure. So if he does discard Luris and Burning Inquiry draws him into like another bolt or something, that would still be pretty bad for me. But it's really all I can do here. That's all I had was a Root Walla, and that's not enough to get the Vengevines. So it'll put both of us at 4 cards in hand. So in this situation, it's actually easier to roll for the one you keep, since you're keeping 1 card. But we still go through the 3 rolls. But those are just like little things you pick up when you learn to play the deck. So 3 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even, odd, however you want to do it. But if you have 4 cards in your hand, you just roll for the one you keep. Okay, so it looks like he still kept his Luris, which I'm not sure why he showed me that. But I guess it would have been inferable anyway. So I discard Fury Land. That's interesting. But that is enough cards for Ox and keeping all the goodies. So that is pretty sweet. So Ox comes into play. That's the first creature. Discard the Root Walla, cast it. That's the second creature. And he is at 7. He had to shock to do the lightning bolt. And the 8 haste damage kills him. That's right. That was like it can just happen. You know, there's so much power in haste. Had to get a little lucky, of course, but it got to a point where it was somewhat deterministic. You only have 1 card in your hand. If you discard, it doesn't matter. So we sideboard. I'll just quickly kind of skip through sideboarding. No one needs to see that. Okay, so he's on the play, and he has Ragavan again. Oof. Don't know how I'm supposed to beat this, but we managed to last game, but I don't know if we can afford to rely on that. Like turn 1 Street Wraith usually is a good sign for trying to get the Hollow Boy out, but I don't think I get it. I'm trying to remember. It's like there's just nothing else going on. There's also like, do you do this play or this play? Okay, it's the Asmo card. That's also decent turn 1 play. Asmo dies pretty easily. Dies to pretty much every removal spell that exists, but it replaces itself, kind of. It gets the cookbook in play, and if they don't kill it, you start shooting their guys down. Yep, there's the bobble. A lot of people will complain about this. I know there's a pretty bad glare right in that section. Not much to do about it at the moment, but I'm going to try and make some adjustments eventually if I can figure something out. But anyway, so that the glared card is just Ragavan. So Bobble does all the dirty stuff. I think he keeps his card from the Surveil, so he must like that's always scary. Like Surveil is just so good. All right, well I got to keep the Asmo. I'm going to untap with it. The question is, do you attack early on into the Death Shadow deck, especially when they have 2 opposing attackers, because they can hold off Ragavan pretty well. Alright, got a Burning Inquiry. It is time for some more wheel spinning. Furies can kind of screw you over sometimes, but like the upside is just so high when you discard like 2 or 3 Vengevines or something and play a couple Hollow Ones. Just so much power so fast. They get like 1 turn. And it still has some grindy elements. The Ox really helps with the grindy elements. Honestly, the new Asmo card does too. Alright, so we agree on what our randoms are. It looks like it's 2 lands and a Neonate, so not super good, although discarding 2 lands when I already have 2 lands in play, it's probably not that bad. Okay, I still have 2 lands in my hand. Ugh. But it looks like I did find a Hollow One, which is probably why I just attacked there. So it makes sense. That was a good turn. I advanced my board a lot, put the cookbook into play. So Asmo cookbook is online. So if I untap with the Asmo, something's going to die. So I'll be able to discard instep, untap, discard, shoot something. The thing is though, when I go to activate the cookbook for the second food, he can respond and kill the Asmo before Asmo has 2 foods to shoot something else. So the question is, do you sit and wait on the cookbook to see if he taps out or something? The answer is I don't know. Maybe it's better to just make him have it, but it does kind of depend on how imminent the threats are in play and stuff like that. I don't really remember what I do. So he has Unholy Heat, which is maybe one of the best new removal spells, to kill a Hollow One for 1 red mana. 6 damage to target creature if you have Delirium. It is really good. And it's an instant. That's insane. So he's got a clear window to attack here. I had a Hollow One on the top, which is probably hard to play at this point, but maybe I'd rather draw it. I don't know. And I believe he has Delirium, so that's 5 damage. He's coming out, guns a-blazing. Still has a lot of cards in his hand, too, so he's having a pretty good game here. He's pretty spell dense, it looks like. That's another thing, when you have the... it looks like I'm discarding land to the cookbook. Yeah, it must be low on gas. Looks like there's another cookbook, so that could maybe get around the removal situation. But the thing is, discarding 2 cards that don't do something in the graveyard is just really bad card disadvantage, because yeah, you're killing something, but you're still kind of 2-for-1 yourself. But if you can get the board advantage, maybe it's not so bad. I think I'm trying to debate if I want to play land. Okay, so I'm just haggling. I'm cycling through the deck, trying to find gas. So discard, draw. Let's decide. It looks like he has a Drown and Lock. So he's going to counter haggle. Okay. Seems weird, but it's not a bad play, because it does stop me from digging. It stops me from potentially putting more important cards in the graveyard, and it keeps me from adventuring the Merchant. Alright, so coming in for 3, man, really bold. I guess it's like, am I really going to block? I can't block the Chandler with flying, and maybe I can just kill Ragavan. Maybe that's my thought. I think Chandler is the more imminent threat at this point in the game, though. I got him down to 8. Guess I can gain life from some clues and race him or something. Okay, so I've got some interaction in play. I've got 2 cards left in my hand. Likely they are just fluff, though, at this point. I'm trying to think of what would be in my hand that I can't play. Right? Like I could have discarded Vengevine instead of the other cookbook. It's not very clear. Probably not a hollow one. I guess it could be, because since the haggle didn't resolve. Okay, expressive iteration, I think that's called. So he gets to surveil first, then he resolves a spell, and he hasn't played a land, so this is one of those like really good expressive iterations. So he looks at the top 3, puts 1 in his hand, 1 into exile, and 1 on the bottom of his library, and he may play the exile card's turn, and it says play, like, because it includes lands. So that's real strong. That card is seeing impact in Legacy, as well as the other 2 cards you see in play. So we're basically playing against a Legacy deck right now. So coming in for 5 again, I can shoot something. Probably just, it's more damage, yeah. Shoot the Chandler. A lot of the cards in my deck he can't cast anyway, so that's fair. If he has a removal spell in his hand, I think it's like, I forgot he could do that, right? The Asbo could just, oh, your creature takes 6 damage. That's insane. Here, food poisoning. I guess that's what that is. I don't know. Or some kind of like corrupt food. So he has to shock to do this. I think he got, maybe Burning Inquiry hit his basics or something. Or he's doing it on purpose for his, he might be doing it on purpose. You never really know with Death Shadow. But being at 5 life, I mean, Vengevine can do some work on that. Okay, he hit a Blazing Root Wall, which is castable. It's not clear if he wants that card, because he has so many cards in his hand. Yeah, like, so now he can just play Death Shadow. That's better. So, I think I'm just dead here, right? Like I got stone nothing. Alright, there's a Neonate. That's a redraw. So I see a land and 1 other card. I can't really see what it is. Looks like it's another Asmo, which you might think is good here. I don't think there's a way to make 2 foods with what's in my hand. Like I would need a land for the food and 2 cards in my hand and the Asmo. So I just don't think that's happening. So I discard, make a food, and I play. Okay, so I think I choose not to sack the Neonate, so it's an extra blocker. I get another food or a cookbook. So if I can untap with the Asmo, maybe I'm in okay shape. Because Asmo can block Ragavan, Neonate can block the Death Shadow, which is very large. Death Shadow is an 8/8. Doing all this off 2 mountains, so I'm still in this game. If the Asmo can survive, I'm in good shape. Problem is though, Death Shadow is out of range of the Asmo ability. So yeah, he's the aggressor here, even though he's at 5 life. So I do the blocks. And what's he got? Team of Battle Rage, I'm dead. So I discard the cookbook. I guess I don't really need it at this point, huh? It's just a redraw. Okay, so he is going to do 2 for 1 me. So now I'm pretty much stone cold dead. What is my best draw here? Burning Inquiry. Well, there's some redraw potential. I'm trying to think, what would be the hypothetical best draw here? I guess even Hollow One's not that good. I don't know. It's just a chump blocker. I don't think I have a way to kill that Death Shadow. He's up 1 card? Yeah. So, pretty sure I'm just dead. Just had a lot of fluff this game. There wasn't a single graveyard relevant card. So discards land, merchant, and 1 other, I'm not sure what that, Neonate, I guess? Cycle Street Wraith. Oh, come on, I gotta slam reveal that. Oh, it's a hollow one. That dice does so many things, though. But hey, I mean, it's another turn, I guess. But to what end am I playing? Without the cookbook, I can't. There's so many missing outs. Like, Ox would be good out, but I can't get in the graveyard without the cookbook. Expressive Iteration. So many cards. But I'm not just dead. I mean, even if I don't... Ooh, you know what? Yeah, I could afford to not block. Oh, no, he has a fetch land. Or he just so, yeah, if he shocks, that's going to be exactly 10. Hmm. So now Death Shadow is a 10/10, and I just happen to be at 10 life, so now I have to block. Okay, what are my outs? Oh, now I don't think I have any outs. Two 10/10s. Scourge of the Skyclave. Yeah, I'm just dead. All right, so we do go to game 3, and I don't think we get very far into game 3 before they actually call the next round. Okay, so I was on the play, and it looks like I went Neonate. And I already sacked it. I skipped ahead a little bit here. He has a Dragon's Rage Channel on his turn 1. I have the means to cast... I have the means here to cast a Hollow One if I have it. But this is all turn 1. Actually, no, I don't. Never mind. So oh, no, this is turn 2. Okay, yeah, so I have Hollow One mana. And I'm spinning the wheel because I guess I probably just don't have it in my hand. Best case scenario here is I can discard like a Vengevine or 2. Oh, we don't get to finish. Yeah, it looks like they're calling the round, so we'll call that a draw. Even though I get the win, some vibe. So it just goes right into round 2. And I believe I am playing Storm combo, which, you don't see a lot of that anymore. And you'll probably start seeing it more when this new D&D set comes out with the Wish card. But we'll see. So we went ahead a little too far there. So he is on the play, and he has nothing on his turn 1, just Spire Bluff Pass. So I'm like, you know what? Spin the wheel. Let's go. And I'm not sure if this is good or bad. And you just never consider that when playing this deck, because even though, yeah, maybe I'll fuel his graveyard for his Pass in Flames or fix his hand, maybe I'll screw his hand up. Maybe that's his only land and he has no other cantrips or something. I don't know. Probably not, but whatever. It's more that my deck has proactive game plans with casting Hollow One, putting cards in my graveyard. Alright, so let's see what happens. I legit do not remember what happens here. Come on, hit something good. He does play with his graveyard off camera a little bit, so we're not going to really be able to see what he gets there, unfortunately. Oh, no, there we go. Baral, land, and I think that was a Gibson given. Okay, I hit double Vengevine and Merchant of the Veil. So, yeah, we got a reader. Vengevine is a hasty boy with big numbers in the front, which is exactly what we want. Oh, I think that means I've got it. Do I got it? Street Wraith is a good sign, I think. I see a Hollow One. Oh no, I only have one. Oh, that would have been the nut. The nut draw. Still a pretty good draw. The odds that I can get both Vengevines are like not too low with how many 1-drops are in the deck. And hey, turn 1 4/4, mess with your hand a little bit. Oh no, does he not have a creature? Oh, I hit the Baral. This one's for the good guys. This one's for the good guys. All right. Oh, Neonate. That's a good sign. Let's go. He doesn't like that. Remand a Neonate. So if I have a land, that's just looks like I do. That's just Neonate Vengevine. You take 12. Can you kill me? And the answer is very likely, because it's Storm combo, but we'll see. All right, that is 12 damage. Oh, this is when the deck is fun. I didn't get to do stuff like this very often when I played it on Magic Online. It was not my draws to have this game, but I would rather have it in paper when I'm actually playing for stakes. You know what I mean? But anyway, all right, take 12, and he could have the perfect series of draws to kill me next turn. Like he can go untap, Baral, Ritual, go off. But you need like exactly the right. Like you need 2 rituals, a Manamorphose, and a Gifts Ungiven. And I'm not even certain that's enough. You may need 3 rituals. I don't know. I haven't played Storm in a while. But he needs a very specific set of cards, and he didn't have the Baral last turn, so he would have had to exactly top deck it there. Or I guess it's possibly chose not to cast it, just hold up Remand. Okay, he's got the Lavamancer, which is the same thing. Okay, we're going for it. So I just feel like I might be dead here. 2 rituals. So he's got 5 red mana floating. Oh, and he just didn't have it. He's like, oh, I don't got it. Well, then you are very dead, sir. All right, let us go to game 2. Skip over the sideboards. Okay, so just tap Steam Vents Pass. That, like, I like the fact that he's not playing Serum Visions and fixing his draws. Leading with a Holland before a fetch. Is that correct? The answer is, I don't know. Fortunately, that's the answer I have to a lot of things because this deck is not easy to play. Bring Inquiry. Hey, let's go. Let's have a game like last game. Worked out pretty well last game. That draw, where you just like Hollow One, Vengevines, will beat most decks, especially game 1. This part's not the most fun to watch, but I mean, just seeing what happens, like what gets hit. Because especially this early in the game, filling the graveyard will definitely benefit me more than my opponent. But in this case, my opponent does have great... Oh, we got a Vine. We got a Vine. Oh no, I don't think there's any Hollow Boys. Oh no. Well, you know what? At least we discarded a card that we don't want in our hand. The other Bring Inquiries, like, it kind of just depends. If my hand's bad, I guess it's alright. Okay, looks like he's playing some kind of cantrip card, and I believe it's Serum Visions because he drew a card first. Yep. So Serum Visions, draw, scry 2. This is pretty good. He's not playing Brawl, which means he's trying to dig and set up, and now he doesn't have Remand open, which is very likely not in his deck anymore. Looks like another Serum Visions, I guess. No, maybe that's a sleight of hand. I think it's a sleight of hand. Oh no. Guess it's the Serum Visions. Okay. Because it looks like he just took cards off the screen, but I think he drew in the scry 2 again. So he's digging pretty deep. He just potentially up to 6 cards deep, and he can untap on turn 3 and still have the win. And I've got nothing in play, so not looking as good for the hero at this moment. But you know, haste is always fun. Okay, Neonate's a good start. Getting that Vengevine back. Discarding a land, that's not a good sign. That means I've got no gas. Just wanted to see what I got going on there. Really just Vengevine. That is all. Oh, we drew the Hollow Boy, but is there enough to get him into play? I think the answer is no. I need a Street Wraith here. It's the only way that Hollow One's coming into play. Alright, we've got a Haggle. I'm going for it. I'm already committed. If I can get Hollow One and Vengevine in play, I might have a chance. Haggle discarding land is not very good. Haggle goes on an adventure. I guess Merchant goes on an adventure. Nothing. Rats. So if I don't have Hollow One in play at this point with exhausting that many resources, I'm probably not casting that Hollow One, which is unfortunate. So it looks like he is playing one of the flippy lands, but he wants the blue side. Those lands are awesome. I do like those lands. There's the Baral. So the question is, does he? If he taps that land, that's a bad sign. Unless it's just another Serum Visions or something. I don't think he has it, because it feels like he just start going for it. Alright, I get another turn. Alrighty. So that Baral needs to die. That is a very scary card. That's not a good sign. Just Merchant pass. Okay, so there's like no way I'm surviving the turn, right? He's got all his mana. So if you happen to not be, if you're not familiar with Storm combo, it kills you with a card called Grape Shot, which deals 1 damage. But it has Storm, which means it's copied for each time you cast a spell that turn. And it plays a bunch of rituals, which are just like pay a certain mana, get more mana back. So it generates a bunch of mana. And then Gifts Ungiven searches for 4 cards with different names, and then I choose 2 to put in the graveyard. And he gets a combination of cards that doesn't really matter what I give him. He gets like a bunch of rituals and a Past in Flames, because Past in Flames itself has flashback, and then it get wow. So my hand was, I think I just scooped. He just showed me he had it. So it is deterministic. Gives all your spells flashback, so you flashback all the rituals again, then you get some given again, and then you go get like Grape Shot and other stuff, and then they're dead. So yeah, I got Storm comboed. Good game, sir. Okay, let's see. So I am on the play, and I have the Neonate Pass play again, which is, I do think it is sometimes correct, but it does depend on the nature of your hand. It's really only correct if you're trying to get Hollow One in play on turn 2 without using Burning Inquiry. In Burning Inquiry, you are taking a risk. So if you have like 2 discard sources, including the Neonate, I think it's better to Neonate first before you Inquiry. Okay, so I'm shocking. So I've got something. I attack, so I probably don't have Vengevine. I have a Goblin Lore. Alright, so I probably do not have... I almost certainly do not have Hollow One. I think it might have been correct. If I was going to Goblin Lore, I probably should have done it before I attacked, because if I hit Vengevine here, and like if I hit the nuts, that's way more... That's like a combat step I'm missing out on power, so that's a mistake. I should have attacked afterward. So, if you're not familiar with Goblin Lore, it's draw 4, discard 3 at random, and it's only you, and it's 2 mana. So 3 cards go away. Got a Cookbook, a Fury, and a Root Walla. So there's a Root Walla. Could be worse, I suppose. Not a big fan of discarding that Fury because I want to be able to kill his Baral boys. Okay, so I'm representing some power here. At least I have something. I feel like last game I just did nothing. Alright, so... What is... So we obviously don't want him to play Baral, but that does expose the Baral, which is not the worst thing. Yep, so we got a Baral. Reduce the cost of his spells and stuff. And the question is if I attack into it. I think the answer is pretty obviously yes. That's a good trade, I think. I mean, it's pretty bad if he has another one, I guess, but I don't know. Still hitting my land drops. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing at this point. Depends on if I have some action. Okay, so here I'm only attacking for this guy because I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can make him 3 power and they would trade. But there's no reason not to attack with a Neonate because it has Menace. So that's just missed a free point of damage there. Easy thing to miss, I guess, in the moment, but I was thinking, oh, I'm going to sack it anyway. Is 1 point going to make a difference? Probably not, but it's just like there's no reason not to do it. His attack step doesn't matter, so being a blocker doesn't matter. I'm going to sack it anyway. Okay, Cookbook, I discard 1 card. What is best case scenario? So I guess I could discard, play Hollow One, maybe? Discard land, that is not good. Not good. But I have something. I guess this could be a Hollow One. But there's no Vengevine, so sad day. Would have wanted to do that pre-combat. Hollow One or Asma are the only cards that make sense here. Hollow One. Alright. So I discarded 2 cards. So Hollow One at 5 mana would cost 1 mana with 2 cards discarded. Oh, I have a Fury in my hand. Nice. Can't really see what I exiled there. Oh, Insolent Neonate. Okay, that's fair. Killing Baral's important. He probably just wins if he untaps with that, so... I think I'm out of cards. So I have 7 power. And it looks like nothing in the graveyard that does anything. Yeah, I don't see any graveyard relevant cards. Can't believe that was a Serum Vision. So we're digging a little deeper. Trying to find... Okay, I mean, he's not dead by any means. It's like a 3-turn clock. That's so much time. So I was not feeling very good, I don't think, in this moment. I mean, game 3, this is my first real round. I think this is a not-so-great matchup because I don't have a lot of ways to interact. But at least, unlike last game, I'm doing something. So, like, trying to look at the bright side. I think he just did 3 cantrip cards. I didn't really see what all 3 were, but he was just setting up. So I get another turn. Best card would be Ox, but I don't think I drew it. So I'm just bash for 7. And did I draw something good? Guess not. Looks like I'm just puttering, saying like, I guess it's your turn. Please don't kill me. Man, Ox would have been nice there because I could have discarded Cookbook, cast it, draw 3 cards. But I think both Furies are gone, so I wouldn't have had Fury. But I probably boarded in Fairy Macabre, which would give me a little something. Like, wait for him to go for his big... He would cast Passive Flames, and he would only have, like, 2 rituals, hit both rituals, and waste his turn. Especially if he, like, if I when he gifts and I hit it, his pass flights go in the graveyard, and then that'd be perfect. But looks like he's just got nothing. Getting a little lucky. Okay, that's not nothing. That's something. So he cantrips into a Goblin Electromancer, and it looks like he has 3 or 4 cards in his hand. Can't quite tell. But he needs the right combination of cards to go off, and it looks like he doesn't have it. So I get another turn. He's almost certainly not going to block because it's not lethal, and he needs that to go off. So I think I have another free 7 points of damage here. Okay, I've got something. Probably Goblin Lore, I guess. So I think that makes sense. Goblin Lore is a good draw here, I think. I mean, it helps find gas. That's the only thing. It's got to be Goblin Lore. Oh no, I'm just cycling a hollow one. Ugh. Yeah, I guess there's really no chance of casting that. My hand must be pretty bad. So what would I be looking for here? Fairy Macabre. Asmo, maybe. Asmo would be pretty good. Ah, alright. We got an Asmo. Okay, so that's increasing the power on the board, which is usually a good thing, but I think in this case it's more about dealing the damage because it's a 2-turn clock anyway with Summoning Sickness. But that's alright. That's one of the other draws because I think both Furies are gone, so it's really just Asmo's the only other thing that can kill a creature right now. And I think I failed to find because the other cookbook, I must have sided one out. I think the other one got discarded. And my last card is Root Wall. So like of all the things to discard, that's pretty good. So I've got plenty of attack power here. I just immediately kill I don't give him a chance to block with it. So I immediately make the second food, kill the Lavamancer, and now he's got to go off here. Which is still possible. He's got another one. So none of that mattered. There's no way to kill 2 of them anyway, so he's just going to go for it. So he reveals his hand. He's like, yeah, it's either I kill you here or I die. And it looks like he's got 2 rituals, a Past in Flames, and an Opt. Even though we can't see his graveyard is stacked with a bunch of cantrips, because he's been cantripped a bunch. At least 3 others, at least. I want to say 4 others, but... So he just casts his rituals and starts the train. He only has 2 blue mana right now, because I don't think there's been a Mana Morphos at all. So that's important to note. He only has 2 blue mana for like redraws. So what he's probably going to do here, he makes 5 mana. He casts Past in Flames. Makes 5 more mana. So he immediately hits the rituals. And then he starts digging. He really needs to find either some Mana Morphos chains to filter more blue mana. He probably at least wants to find 1 Mana Morphos and then find gifts. If he can manage to do that, I think he just wins because then he can gifts, do another flashback on Past in Flames, go off. Storm count would be plenty high at that point. Alright, so looks like... Oh, he has an Opt in his hand. I don't know if that matters, but he probably might as well just use the flashback. So he starts with the Serum Visions to dig deeper. Okay, he finds the one of the flip cards where it's like... it's either a come into play tap blue land, or it looks at the top 6 for an instant or sorcery, which is really good, because the cards he needs to find fit that description. And it only costs 2 mana. Looks like the scry is Baral and land, so bottom those, don't want those. And he has 1 blue mana left. And I think here I talked to him, he was about to cast like a sleight of hand or something. I'm like, don't you want to cast that other card that digs 6 deep? Like, you have to find Mana Morphos. That is your only out, because he's using his last blue mana. So if he finds Mana Morphos, he has 2 more blue mana, can cast another cantrip into to find gifts for the last blue mana. And look, he finds Mana Morphos. So far so good. So he's going to get 2 more redraws. He'll go plus 1 mana. Mana Morphos is a really good card when you have a cost reducer. So he does that, makes some mana. Yeah, there's no way you'll be able to see the dice, but you got blue mana, red mana, storm count. So storm count I pretty much ignore because it's just like if he finds the gifts and has the mana to do all the stuff, he can go through the cycle 2 more times and storm count would be like 30 or something stupid. Okay, so right now I believe he's organizing like which part of his graveyard has flashback, because he's put new spells in there since he's cast Past in Flames. So he's got like a section of his graveyard that does not have flashback. But he should still have at least 1 or 2 more cantrips, and he has an opt in his hand. But if he cantrips here, that's his last blue mana, so he needs to either find Manamorphose again, and he's doing Serum Visions. It looks like he did not find it. Okay, so now he has 1 more blue mana, and it looks like it was sleight of hand. And it looks like he did not find it. So he's out of blue mana, so he just has a bunch of red mana, and well, you know, actually he could have taken the ritual, flash back Past in Flames, Manamorphose. So he could have kept going. I don't know. I think he just scoops though. I don't know if I saw that at the time, but I'm seeing it now. So I didn't see that he hit a ritual. I think he could have. He may have been 1 mana short. I don't know. It was close though. But he decided to scoop. I showed him when I brought him just the Macabres. All right, so I guess I'm technically 2-0, but it's really like a draw and a win. Let's move on to the next round. Alright, looks like I am on the play, and I just begin with another Neonate. There's almost always a turn 1 play in this deck. There's so many 1-drops, even if it's just a cookbook, which is not a bad turn 1 play. A turn 1 cookbook is almost as good as turn 1 Neonate, because it's a 0 mana discard source for turn 2. Okay, so he immediately Lightning Bolts it, which is weird. So I just discard a land, which is not a really good sign. But that's a good trade. I guess he's scared of me making Hollow One. So Lightning Bolt off Spirebluff Canal could be a lot of things. Could be Storm again, which is really unlikely, but happened last time. But I don't think Storm really mainboards Lightning Bolt, so I wouldn't put him on Storm. I put him on the new blue-red Delve Dragon guy with Ragavan and stuff. What is that? Goblin Lore? Alright. So I must not have the best hand. Or I just don't have anything else to do since he killed the Neonate. Alright, let's get some gas. This part's a little slow. I'm trying to I don't want to fast forward through these like really short parts because I'm going to fast forward too far. But if you are wanting to, feel free to. Oh, got a Root Walla. So got something out of it, but no Vengevines, no real graveyard relevant cards. But, you know, Root Wall attacks for 3. Ooh, okay. Now we got something going. So 7 power on turn 2. Pretty good. Would have liked to discard a Vengevine there. And he just goes land pass. I smell a counterspell. Like, blue, come on. So, what am I doing here? 1 mana, 2 mana. Goblin. Oh, I paid 1 mana to pump. So, yeah, counterspell. So, counterspell, I'm burning Inquiry. I guess. I think I'm okay with that trade. Yeah, I usually play land after I try to do the draw discard because it gives you more chances at keeping gas. But the third land can matter. Thought Scour. Yeah, okay. So he's definitely playing the new. Is it? I don't know what it's called. Delver. I think it's what it's called, like Delve R, because it used to play Delver Secrets, but now it doesn't. But it sells that guy. That guy is hard for me to beat, especially when he's really big. So how big is he? I think he's a 6/6. So a 6/6 flying creature is not a good thing for me. So my best chance really is to try to swarm it, just put a bunch of stuff in play. Haggle, discard a land. Ugh. Go on an adventure. Come on, find some gas. What's my best draw here? Maybe Asmo. Asmo could maybe take this down in 2 turns if it lives. He burnt a bolt on the Neonate, which I'm not a big fan of, because if I hit Asmo, and if that was his only bolt, or I guess Unholy Heat's pretty good, but he just delved his graveyard away. Then I don't think he would want me to have an Asmo in play. 3 mana. I guess I'm just casting Merchant, right? Okay. So I'm making some bodies. I'm like, hey, if you attack, I've got more power attacking you back. So that's kind of my plan here. And he's at lower life. So, an okay plan. But a 6/6 flyer is pretty good because he's got a bunch of cards in his hand. He probably has more interaction, like direct interaction than I do. Okay. It's a good start. That like takes the mana away. Hopefully doesn't do anything. I think he keeps both. Ugh, that's not good. 2 good cards on the top of his library. But do you attack? lightning bolts the merchant. That might seem weird because merchant's just a 2/3, but he lets me like recycle my draws, so I don't blame him. It's like that or the root walla. And root walla like ties up a mana to have relevant attack power, and he didn't attack, so respect. He's respecting the attack power potential of this deck. Okay, that looks like a Flamewake Phoenix, which has to attack. So I probably went combat, no attacks, post-combat main phase, Phoenix. So it can actually block. But am I really getting anywhere with that? Because like, if I block one attack, I guess that's okay. He's just reading it. So yeah, Phoenix, if it's in your graveyard, and you control creatures with 4 more power, on your combat step, you may pay a red mana and return it to play. Looks like he has, I didn't see if that was Unholy Heat or a third bolt, but he kills the root walla. Because next turn he can just not attack, and then I have to suicide my bird into his guy, his dragon. Shock in. Ooh, what do you want to do with 5 mana? Why do that? Wait. So shock for 5 mana pass. That would make sense if he had a pyromancer in his graveyard or something, but okay, Goblin Lord, what? He's got to have a counterspell, right? Like, there's no way he doesn't have a counterspell here. Okay, he has exactly actual counterspell with 3 mana, so maybe he just wanted to counterspell plus another 3 mana card in his hand. But what 3 mana? No? Why would he shock into play? Am I missing something? He's got to have something he was preparing for, I guess, and that didn't happen. And he feels ahead, which he's, at this point, he's very ahead. Now he has a 6/6 to my hollow one, 6/6 flyer. Snapcaster Mage. Okay, that must have been what it was. He was holding up Snapcaster Mage for a potential snap plus removal spell or something. And it looks like he's just flashing back a Serum Visions, which is a perfectly reasonable thing. He wants to maintain... one, he wants to just find an answer to the hollow one. But at this point, I think he's ahead in the race. So yeah, I think he wants to maintain like tempo advantage of like, I have a removal spell, a counter spell, attack you. So now he's attacking. Yeah, I think that's correct. Even if he just chumps, even if he didn't chump, I think he wins the race. But he could definitely chump and he would definitely win the race. So what are my best draws here? I mean, I do have a Phoenix in my graveyard, which is alright. I mean, I can take one more hit from that. Okay, just cast a Vengevine. It's not bad. And get a Phoenix. Alright. So that's like, I'm doing something. That's a big hit. It's not quite lethal. I think it's 2 short. It's exactly 10 damage. It's 1 short. So block Vengevine. Okay. Take 6 damage. Alright, so I'm not dead on board. He has a 6 power flyer. But he is dead on board. So he needs to do something. A land. Oh, he's a lightning bolt. Okay, so I'm dead. He's exactly 9 damage. So 6 plus 3 is 9. So he wins game 1. Pretty close. I came out of nowhere and went bash. You know, that's what I like about the deck. It's better if you can do that really early. So even if you put around it, you'll eventually hit a big swing of power. But it wasn't quite fast enough. So I will be on the play. It looks like I went Street Wraith into Burning Inquiry. Alright, so this could go poorly, but let's see. I almost certainly didn't have Hollowwood in my hand, right? Because I wouldn't have Street Wraithed first. Yeah, I mean, so you always Street Wraith before you do anything else because it just digs deeper, puts more cards in your graveyard. Like, it would be really bad to discard the Street Wraith off of your Burning Inquiry, because that you're just one less card deeper. Alright, so figuring out what randos. Alright, let's see. What did we hit here? So he hit Mountain, and it looks like another land. I hit Vengevine Cookbook Land. Okay, so I only saw 2 of his cards. Vengevine's good, though. Oh, there's only 1 hollow one. Man, that's the second time I went discard Vengevine into 1 hollow one. But, I mean, that is asking a lot. This is still a very good opening to the game. What's the best thing? So you just Channeler? Okay, that's totally fine. I will attack into that all day. I am helping his Delirium though. That is a downside, but the deck doesn't need that much help with it anyway, so no real loss there. I mean, if I can get that Vengevine to play, I will be in great shape. That is a lot of pressure. Okay, no cuts. Let's see. Cookbook. Not a good sign for getting it into play. Okay. Next best thing. Next best thing. So make a food. Actually have a real food token. A little bit of a glare on it, though. And attack for 6. So, oh, he's chump blocking. That is some respect. That really signifies that his hand is either saturated with creatures, or he doesn't have the right combination of cards to tempo me back, so he needs to save his life total, both of which are very valid. So I see Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolts, Fire Frost, or whatever that card is called. I think an Unholy Heat. He doesn't have any threats, but he's really representing a counterspell here. Haggle. I think that's a decent counterspell target, but he lets it resolve. I discard a land, which is not the best sign, but gotta do something. Haggle is not a creature spell, so it does not look like we're gonna get Vengevine back this turn. But hey, 6 attacking power is pretty strong. I will take it. Okay, it looks like I'm going to combat, and he's stopping me. He's probably gonna use Fire Ice. That Glary card is an Adventured Merchant of the Veil, and the rest of the Glare cards are his graveyard. So I do apologize for that. It doesn't really make a big deal. I mean, we get the idea, but... Okay, so I think what happens here... Yeah, I think he ices the Hollow One, so he's more tempo, right? Tap your guy, draw a card, just take 2. Try to... He's also filling his graveyard, and he can get a big Murktide Regent, like an 8/8 or something, which would be a problem. So that could be what he's trying to build up here. He might be missing his land drops. He scribed both to the top, but what did he draw? Do you even see what he drew? I think he's going to miss his land drop here. But he will hit it next turn, so it looks like he scribed a land at the top. He peeks at my card, and I think he has Delirium now with the artifact, so it looks like he'll probably Unholy Heat the guy on my turn. The Hollow One, which is unfortunate. I don't think that Hollow One has dealt damage. Okay, Neonate's a good sign for getting the Vengevine, so that's nice. Oh, there we go. So Neonate. So what happens here is Neonate will discard the Root Walla, which will trigger the Root Walla's Madness, and then Root Walla will come on the stack first, and then Vengevine's ability comes on the stack first, then Vengevine comes into play, then Root Walla comes into play. So that's what happens. So we got a big attack here for 10 damage. And you got an Unholy Heat will kill the Hollow One, so he takes 6. And I still have a big board in play. And a rando food token, just in case, Never know when you need a food token, I guess. And that glare really bothers me. I don't know if it bothers you, but it bothers me. But at least it's not like a relevant card in play right now. Okay, so he starts with Bobble. We know he drew a land. Or no, he drew a land off his first Bobble from last turn, so he drew whatever that second card was. So he has Bolt, lands, some other cards. So he's got a lot of interaction here. All of my cards are very boltable. I think I don't have any reserve in putting creatures into play because he's unlikely to have board wipes. It's not impossible, though. I think an Anger of the Gods would be very reasonable here. So he's doing something. I arranged my creatures in this weird way to keep it out of the glare. So he just fetches a tap land. He'll probably just double bolt here, right? He's down to 6. Ugh. Not so great. Not so great. I don't think I've hit him with anything super big yet, right? I've just kind of nickeled back because he kept blocking, or he kept block, tap, destroy the Hollow One. Yeah, he just double bolts. The Root Walla is more damage, but maybe I think I might like the Phoenix hit there because I guess the Rual was a 2-turn clock. That's a 3-turn clock. All right, that's fair. I think I just passed. I don't think I have anything here. But I don't remember, I'm not going to lie. If I have creatures here, it's better to wait till next turn to get Benchmine back. Do have the Adventure Boy. Yeah, I just passed. I can't. I have at least 2 cards in my hand, but it might be 3. Okay, what does he have? He has Unholy Heat. Okay, kills it. Okay, so he's Unholy Heat. It looks like a Soul Guide Lantern, which is pretty good. Looks like he comes into play, exiles Vengevine. And then I think he just hits the rest of my graveyard while he's at it. Well, there goes my gas. So now I have 2 mountains of food and a cookbook in play. Not very impressive. But I do have that Merchant just hanging out there. So this is where Merchant's Veil kind of shining. Yeah. Alright, so you pass the turn. Cycle a Street Wraith. Just redraw. Right now, I'm definitely the aggressor. He's at 4 life. And I really just want to string some cards into something in play that can attack. Whether that's a land and a Merchant, which it looks like it is going to be. Oh, an Asmo. Alright. I'll take it. You know, leave that Merchant for later. It just immediately kills it. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. So even though I don't really need another cookbook, cookbook's just another card in my hand for anything, whether it's using that cookbook, if I find a Goblin Lore, or anything like that. So just putting another card in my hand is more fodder, or if I find like a Neonate or something, turn it into another card. Okay, looks like a Murktide Regent, which is bad because it's almost certainly going to be an 8/8. Ugh. So if you thought killing a 6/6 was hard, now I can't even shoot it down with Asmo. I have to have 4 foods, which is pretty impossible given that I don't play the Daredevil Cycly guy, which I don't think you want to play in this deck. It's really clunky and doesn't synergize with a lot of other things. I guess that's not true. It's like alright with. Well, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I need to rethink that because it's pretty good with like your Goblin Lores and stuff. And if you splash a little bit of black mana to cast it, then you can get your Phoenixes back. I don't know. That's probably just not very good. I don't even know what you cut for it, to be honest. It does make Cookbook better, but alright. 8/8 Murktide, your turn. 2-turn clock. Oh, and he has a Surgical. So it looks like he's Surgical extracting Asmo, which is like, I don't know, I guess that's alright. So my hand is Flamewake Phoenix, Fury, Cookbook, which is an interesting hand. Oh, he's looking at my sideboard, yeah. So I brought in Grim Lavamancer. I think the reason I brought that in is it seemed like it killed everything but Murktide Regent. Like all those threats are like cheap. So there's like Snapcaster, Dragon's Rage Chandler when it doesn't have Delirium, Ragavand, and I guess that's it. I think he has Brazen Borrower, so it kills all those things. It puts him to 2 though. It's an interesting decision. I mean, I don't understand if it was a Vengevine or something, but I'm not really sure why he's scared of Asmo because there's just like almost no way Asmo's taking out Murktide. But maybe he's thinking that's the only way I could possibly take it out. So I potentially have a blocker here with the Phoenix, but blocking is not what I want to be doing right now. Cycling because it doesn't change the clock. Still 2 turns of hits. Okay, just cast Merchant. Okay, so I cast Merchant because if next turn Phoenix has haste, so he can't block both of them. Okay, that's a blocker. I do have a Fury in my hand, so if I find a red card, that's pretty good. It looks like he has 1 card in his hand. And yeah, it is Brazen Borrower, Petty Theft. So if I find a red card here, I think I just win, right? Because he can't answer both, right? And he attacked. So the odds seem low. He looked like he was in a good position, but I think I have the exact sequence of cards that wins me the game here. A hasty creature, a way to kill the creature. So he either counters one of the spells or can't block both. Like you can't have both. So it's just win. I just win here. Fury takes out his blocker. he either counters that with like a counterspell, and then I have 2 attackers, or it kills an attacker, and I still have an attacker, and he has no blocker, so he's just dead. He's at 2 life. I actually think what lost him the game there was using that surgical extraction. I think if he didn't do that, he would have won, because he would have been at 4. Let Dragon Rage Channeler die, Petty Theft, one of my threats, untap, Murktide kills me. But I don't blame him, because in the circumstances it looked okay. I needed a very weird sequence of cards, and Asmo wasn't in the deck, so he's like, okay, well, he doesn't have a way to kill a blocker, so here's a blocker. But don't forget about the Fury. Alright, so going to game 3. Alright, so looks like we have land pass from him, and ooh, I had Street Wraith, Hollow One for 1 mana. I'll take it. I like Hollow One on turn 1. I do prefer when it involves Vengevines, but you know, can't have it all. Can't have it all. I've heard that 1 mana 4/4s are good, but we'll see. It is an artifact, so it can die to more things. And you have to pay 4 life. I'd play that card though. 1 mana, pay 4 life, 4/4, bring Inquiry. Okay, alright. So, the question is, would he have done that if I just attacked first? And the answer is I don't know. I guess I'm like going for the highest upside if I hit Vengevines, but hopefully I just get to replay it. I don't, I haven't had this happen yet, or maybe I've had it happen one time where I Burning Inquiry on turn 1 or 2, and they discard all their lands. That's like the dream. I want to win that way so bad, at least one time. Okay, so resolving the randos. Let's see. Looks like he hit a bolts. I didn't see a bolt, a blue card. So he has some cards. Phoenix, alright. Goblin Lore, and a red card. I guess that's a Fury. Because I don't think it's a Fury or a Neonate. I can't really tell. Still got the Hollow One, so that's good. So if I land here, I can go Hollow One, land, Phoenix. Oh, okay. What am I going for here? Just trying to find another Hollow One, I guess. Oh. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's much better than Phoenix. Oh, man. Okay, now that's a good surgical extraction. I wasn't a big fan of the one in the last game, but that one's pretty good. It's pretty good. But still, I like my position in this game. But that's a good time to have that card. You don't really see surgical extraction. See a lot of play in Modern. I mean, it is good here for sure, but Fairy Macabre would have been just as good. But now he doesn't have to worry about Vengevine the rest of the game. So that's the thing. But he had to pay life, and he did get hit by the Hollow One. The question is, if I would have attacked first. So it turned out that attacking. Well, that's hard to say actually, because if he didn't bounce the Hollow One, I may not have been able to get Vengevine. So attacking first or not is. See, this is where the deck's not so obvious. I think maybe it would have been correct to attack first. A turn 3 Expressive Iteration is always really strong. It's definitely stronger with a threat in play, but I like it either way. I swear, every time my opponent has cast Expressive Iteration, they found a land. Every time. And played it off that. It's crazy. Okay, so Hollow One died. That's unfortunate. Now I got nothing again. Do have a big graveyard if I can manage to find an Ox Boy. Alright, just recycling the draws. It's unfortunate though, because it does fuel his deck well too. It puts cards in his graveyard for both Delirium and Delve, which are relevant. I mean, it matters. He got an 8/8 last turn, or last game. I don't remember if I can't remember if I cast a Burning Inquiry last game. I probably did. I don't remember. Okay, land, Hollow One. Oh, wrecked. Okay, so I finally got hosed by my own Burning Inquiry. I swear, Burning Inquiry is usually a Hollow One magnet, back when I had a Faithful Suiting. But it's been fairly kind to us this tournament. Okay, got a Root Walla. I mean, that's an attacker. And a Grim Lavamancer, which is not really an attacker, but it's a threat, and it can interact a little bit. And I got a nice juicy graveyard, so kind of doing something. Okay, Serum Visions is usually a fairly good sign. I saw Bolts and Surgical, and he kept both of those cards. Surgical, I mean, I guess that hits Phoenix now, I guess. So attack, Snapcaster Mage. Okay, that's fair. I guess I decided I want to make him use a spell on killing the Root Wallace, so I just shoot it down before he can block. Yeah, make him use a spell. So he just, I think, Unholy Heats it. Takes no damage. Got another one. So it's like it's called a Thoughtseize bug on Magic Online, where you Thoughtseize, you take their card, and then when they untap and draw, they draw that card again. So it's not quite a Thoughtseize bug, but it's the just play another one, make you spin your Snapcaster on it. So just repeat. So my game plan did not develop at all in that game, except for he used a Snapcaster Mage. All right, let's try this again. Lightning Bolt. All right, you got it. So he still has that Brazen Borrower hanging out there. Cycle Hollow One. I don't know if that's a good thing. Usually cycling Hollow One's not a good thing. Okay, so we know, we as in the viewing audience, we know he has a Surgical Extraction in his hand. Petty Theft on... Okay, I guess I just shoot him for 2 damage. I don't know if that's right. It's like... So he's representing 2 Brazen Borrowers later, but my graveyard's pretty stacked. So that's enough activations. But I got nothing. I have no attackers. I don't have any ways to... I don't have anything in my graveyard. I guess I have a Phoenix, but pretty far away from getting that. He's still at 10 life, so those Grim Lavamancers aren't like a clock. So I'm not liking my position. If he finds Murktide, I am in big trouble. Alright, so we're trying to figure something out here. Life totals, maybe? I don't know. Usually when there's all the pointings and stuff, there's some kind of math or tracking what cards did what. Oh, I think I was like, why are you so low on life? I was like, you should be at 12. He's like, you hit me with your guy. I'm like, oh yeah. Not used to that. So reveals, looks like it was Merchant of the Veil. He doesn't have any threats either. But his like top deck threats, I think, are better than mine. Oh no, yeah, he has freaking Brazen Borrowers. He definitely has threats. Okay, those things can... That's a lot of damage. I have, let's see, cycle away a land. Okay, let's turn that into a card, please. So I have a Grim Lavamancer in my hand. I have 2 Grim Lavamancers. Okay, let's go. 2 Grims. So he's doing something. Thought Scour. Alright. Targeting me. Alright. Looks like I discarded an Asmo, which I currently have no way to cast, and one other card I can't see. Okay, this is a close game. He attacks for 3. Life totals are similar. He has another Brazen Borrower, another land. He's getting kind of flooded. This is one of them grindy games. We're both like kind of on nothing. That can be fun though, to be honest. That Brazen Borrower is very dead, so it will not be hitting me again. And that one's dead too. I have 2 Lavamancers and neither of them are sick. Bobble, you got it. Looks like it was a hollow one, so he attacks for 6. I think I just gunned those down. Yeah, I was like, I'm not taking 6 damage. So you can have nothing and I'll have some Lavamancers. Sounds good to me. So I exile 4 cards. Surgical Extraction. What would he hit? Okay. I was like, this guy's supposed to be an adventurer. I think he got pushed off to the side there. What's he hitting? He's hitting... Oh, hollow one. Oh, because my top card's hollow one? I guess it takes 3 cards on my graveyard. I guess. I have a Fury in my hand. Interesting. Interesting game state. He's at 8 life. Uh-oh. So now those Lavamancers are kind of a threat. He has one turn to find like a removal spell or something. Uh-oh. That's an interesting swing. The surgical put him down to 8. So now it's only one turn. Okay, he found a bolt. So that's a start. So that's another turn. Feels weird lightning bolting a Grim Lavamancer when you don't have any creatures in play or anything, but your life's just so low. So I deal 4 damage to him on his end step. He bolts one of them. But still going to take 4 damage. Okay, so now he has... Oh, he still technically only has one more turn. But he would have just been dead here, so I mean, he gets another draw step to find something. I put Merchant of the Veil in play, and I don't know what he could have here. If he kills Grim, yeah, I don't know. He'd have to kill both my creatures. It'll be at 2. So if he can go like kill guy, Murktide, that'd be like... I don't think he has any cards in hand though. Okay, that does not do it. Expressive Iteration would have been pretty good. Yeah, I guess he's just dead, right? I'm just like, okay, what could you have here? Shoot you again? Yeah, he had nothing, just a land. Alright, well, I squeezed out a win there, Grim Lavamancer. I think that was all I brought in against him. Yeah, my sideboard wasn't very good, not gonna lie. I tried to hedge for what I thought were weak matchups, but it's just... I think that needs the most work. Alright, and that was round 3, so I think this is the last round. I'm not sure who else on the play. Let's find out. Looks like he is on the play. Okay, so Shocking Breeding Pool into Elvish Reclaimer. So we're playing some kind of big mana deck or some kind of mana deck. Not exactly obvious what that represents. Probably not Primeval Titan, but honestly at this point I don't even know anymore. Elvish Reclaimer means we'll probably see that Flagstones of Trocare or whatever that card's called. It's pretty good with him. So it comes in play and makes white mana untapped. It's legendary, and when it goes to your graveyard, you can search the library for planes and put it into play. So you can Reclaimer, sack it, go get a land, then go get another land. That's pretty cool. Bring Inquiry. Alright, let's go. Bring Inquiry wasn't that good to me last game other than just filling my graveyard up for Grim Lavamancer, which worked out. But my opponent flooded really hard last round, let's be honest. Alright. Maybe I'll hose my opponent. I'm unlikely to hose him on lands, though, because any deck that is land-based plays like 26, 28 lands. Oh yeah, we're trying to figure out like which one is one for you and which one's one for me. It's like just as long as we agree on what it is. I think I have more cards in my hands, so I have to use different dice. Okay, so we find the cards. Rinse and repeat. Oh, there's Vengevine. Oh, there's a hollow one. It's like bittersweet. Oh man, if I would have just had that other hollow one in my hand. I mean, I can't be too upset. I got to keep one. I got rid of Vengevine, but that was almost the nut. Almost. All right, let's see if we can put a Vengevine plan. This is a good start. I basically need a fast start to beat big mana decks. Okay, so Neonate's good. That discarding Asmo means I probably have an Asmo, right? But Neonate's really good for getting the Vengevine. Yep. Alright, it's not a bad start. It's a lot of power. That's 8, 11 power. 8 of which is attacking right now. So does he block here? He's at 18, you go to 10. I don't know. I'm trying to put myself in his position. I'm a Reclaimer deck. Can I afford to not activate my Reclaimer before it dies? Can I afford to take 8 damage? I don't know. I mean, he could be running... It depends, like, if he has a way to deal with some of the power in play, maybe. I think I was shortcutting on the fetch. I like shuffled presented. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to get my cookbook. But yeah, it looks like he just took the damage. I think he wants to activate the Reclaimer. Tap land. Ugh. So this is like a 4-color deck, 5-color deck. There's 2 Triomes in play. I can't really see which ones they are. And a Breeding Pool. I imagine he blocks here. I mean, it is lethal, so I mean, minimally he has to block. But if he, yeah, I think he's just gonna block. It would make sense to not use. I don't even know what Reclaimer finds here. Goblin Bar. All right. I guess that could eventually, potentially, not eventually, it could potentially put in more attacking power with Vengevines if I find the right cards. Man, Rootwalla really made cards like this better because it was like okay with Hollow Ones. You could like spin the wheel, play a Hollow One, but now like Rootwalla is like more 0 mana off your stuff to get a Vengevine, but it doesn't look like I got it. Yeah, it's just like land, cookbook land, just nothing. I'm like, what are you representing? All right, just send my guys in. I'm not here to combat, math, and situations. Those are for blockers. We're here to put some haste. Right, yeah, so it looks like he is blocking. So he takes 7. All right, you have 1 turn. I saw like 4 cards, man. Jeez. I think, do I want to extend more into a potential sweeper? So let's see, if he has a sweeper here, let's say worst case scenario, he has, no, can't just be Anger of the Gods because I still have a Hollow One. Cookbook? Yeah, Cookbook's alright. Yeah, he just has nothing. He's like, any one of those creatures kills me. Dang, that's a pretty aggressive start. That's what I need to beat big mana decks because those are not the best matchups. Oh, okay, so Valakut. Okay, so 4 mana and a Valakut. So it could be, or 4 colors. It could be so it could still be a Primeval Titan deck. It could be a Bring Delight. The card seems pretty good. Didn't even get to the point where Valakut was relevant last game. That's pretty lucky. But I mean, that's a. It is an aggressive. It's a. I mean, Vengevine decks are meant to be vast. We just saw a couple of games in this event where the randomness of the discard wasn't quite great, but the deck still had some grind elements, like those recurring threats. And Asmo was alright in a couple of the games, and Ox was really good. The resilience of the deck is a little more impressive than I expected. It's just my Magic Online matches didn't go so great, but maybe those little changes I made mattered, like fueling your graveyard with fetch lands. Fury had some time to shine. Okay, I see a Hollow One in hand and I see a Merchant. So Hollow One is coming down with as long as there's a land in my hand for sure. But hopefully you can get more than that. Ooh, I like that. So I didn't attack because I guess I'm thinking of Vengevine's going to come into play. Okay, there's a mountain, so we're definitely playing a Hollow One. So if I can find one more creature, I will be attacking for 4 and putting 8 power or more. Actually, at least 9 power. I think I'm trying to figure out how I want to sequence it. Best case would be a Rootwalla or maybe an Asma. Actually, Asma would be really good. So I would go Merchant, discard something. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. So Rootwalla. Oh, that's not. I must have not had it. I swear I saw a Merchant. Was I wrong? Maybe I didn't have it. Why would I go for that there if I didn't have it? I have double Hollow One. Okay. I'm trying to see. I thought I saw a Merchant because with a Merchant you just discard one other card and then Hollow One's 1 mana. There's no way I wouldn't go for that out of trying to get both Hollow Ones, right? Like there's no way. Even if I had Cookbook, did I really just have nothing? I'd have to have Stone nothing. Like Cookbook, Merchant, any of these cards would put Hollow One into play. Oh, that feels bad. I hope I didn't mess up there. That would be really embarrassing. It's definitely correct to put at least one of the 2 Hollow Ones in play, even if you can't get the Vengevine. I guess that's a hypothetical I was thinking in my mind. I was like, well, I can't get the Vengevine, so I'm going to save him. But Hollow Ones are so hard to get into play without Faithless Looting. Like, it is difficult. drew Vengevine. That seems bad because if I couldn't, okay, there's a is that an Ox maybe? Ox or a Rootwalla? I'm cycling. Okay, I must not have a. I don't have a Hackle. There's no way I would be doing this. Okay, what's that? Alpine Moon. Is that a? Oh no, I think that's an Obsidian Charmile. Yeah, my hand's really clunky. I'm not sure if that card's even good here. It's just like okay, it's like he plays lands and that matters. So here is something to do something. Yeah, okay. So I feel a little better. I'm like, I hope I didn't mess that up because whew, that would be bad. That would be not good. Okay, so I probably just named Valakut there, which I don't know if that matters. I mean, he's not really anywhere near Valakut doing something, but if looks like I'm not doing much either. I think that was a Rootwalla. Now Rootwalla, I'm okay not casting, even though I mean it could be chipping in, but any removal spell deals with it, and it's a way to get the Vengevine, and we want to be a little more explosive. Burning Inquiry. Okay, please, let's go. This could be really good or mediocre. I think the odds are more my favor because I have 3 different cards in my hand that synergize with it. I don't know if our opponent has played a single spell. Which is really embarrassing because like I just had done nothing. Yeah, I don't think they played a spell. Okay, Rootwalla and some red cards. So Rootwalla comes into play. So that's a Neonate and an Alpine Moon, I think. I guess that means I kept my hollow ones. Or no, I cycled a hollow one. I should still have one there. I have 2 Vengevines in my hand. That's awkward. Yeah, I see a hollow one. So I'm definitely getting a Vengevine. Alright, so now we're making something happen. Oh, Vengevine's got a glare. Well, you know it's a Vengevine, so. Alrighty. Now we got a clock. But he can have 6 mana next turn, so he can do stuff. But it's I think I'm not really worried about Valakut right now, especially because of the Alpine move, but even without it. He's more around like the sweeper range and Primeval Titan range. But Primeval Titan is not good here because he doesn't have the Dryad, so it would just be like a Bring to Light for a sweeper maybe. The sweeper that kills Hollow One is not good against Vengevine. So it would have to be like something very specific. Because Vengevine, or Hollow One does not die to Anger the Gods, which is usually the best answer to Vengevine. I don't think, he can't just pass here, right? There's no way. Yeah, I don't know. He seems to be trying to calculate something here. Maybe he doesn't have the right colors to do what he wants to do. He hasn't played a land yet. He has a bunch of lands in his hand, I'm sure, right? Oh, I think he was trying to figure out if Valakut enters untapped due to Alpine Moon. And I think someone said it does, so we just didn't bother with it. Okay, he's doing. I forgot what that card's called. It's like deal 3 damage or destroy an artifact in your hand. So I thought he was just doing destroy an artifact. It's like, no. I'm dealing 3 damage, and then he has Anger the Gods, which will then exile it. So I'm like, alright, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know how much of a difference it makes, but it's like that extra card in my graveyard, maybe, for Ox or something. So it's reasonable. Like, he had to do both anyway, so. I like it. So it looks like I found a land, which means I can cast one of those Vengevines in my hand, which, not my first choice, but Vengevine does still have haste. I will take it. I need to keep the pressure on, because the longer the game goes, the worse it gets for me. Big mana decks are just going to do dumb things with big mana. Easily worth the 3 life there. So, okay, so if I hit him with Vengevine and he untaps, he has 6 lands. If he hits his 7th land, I could be in big trouble. Because I'm well under 18. Scape Shift kills me, assuming he has enough mountains in this deck. With all those tri-lands, he almost certainly does. Okay, there's a Dryad. Oh, wait, no, I have Alpine Moon. Okay, so you'd have to have an answer to Alpine Moon in that, but that'd be fairly easy with 7 mana. But looks like he doesn't have it. Well, if he could kill Alpine Moon and play a land, he would trigger 2 Valakuts. Oh, that would be scary. I'd just be dead to that. I don't think I could beat it. So land. Okay, Vengevine number 2. Does he block? Put him to 1. But then does he really have a way to win without Dryad? I don't know. I guess he has to deal with the Alpine Moon too. Okay, so we're having a game where it's like Disruption Clock is actually working. I do think I like Alpine Moon better than Blood Moon. This deck's 3 mana is just so much. Like this deck does not have time or like extra mana to be spending on a Blood Moon. Plus, if with Blood Moon, if Blood Moon's in play and then they play a Dryad on top of it, there's like a layers rule where I think, I'm not certain on this, but they'll still get all their colors. Their lanes won't have the abilities like Valakut, but they'll get their colors back. So yeah, I think I like Alpine Moon. Still stops most of the problems. I'm not sure about Obsidian Charmaw though. That card seems kind of eh. Alright, so those are some blockers. That can probably trade with a Vengevine at this point, because he probably has enough lands. Yeah, there's no point in not attacking though. He's at 1 life, so he's forced to block. Looks like there's an for 5 mana. Here's my dragon. I think it's a dragon. I'll probably still destroy a Valakut though, even though it's named, because it doesn't really make sense to destroy a tri-land, because Valakut, when Alpine Moon names it, you can tap for any color anyways. It's like, I want you to have less Valakuts in play, in case you can answer it. But he has to answer my threats, and Charmaw does have flying, so chump blockers are probably not going to get it done. It looks like he's playing 5 colors though, so he could play. You could have anything. You could have Kai's Guile, Lingering Souls. I don't know. Kai's Guile would actually be really good here. The question is, what would he do? Would it be like sack gain 4? Would it be like sack exile graveyard, make a blocker? I guess he could entwine it. That seems kind of mediocre. So it's like, it's kind of lose-lose. He can either bounce the haste creature, or he can bounce the creature that destroys a land. He's actually missed his 7th land drop 2 turns in a row, I think. At least 1 turn. I guess he could like draw a card here, hit his land drop. If he doesn't hit his land drop, oh, he just has nothing. Well, okay then. So I feel like I technically went undefeated, but I feel like some of my opponents just had some bad draws. But I mean, I don't know if that's an indication that the deck can't win without that. Maybe. I'll probably have to play it again to find out, but I'm not going to play this deck for a while. I might go back to it again on Magic Online, but with this series, I want to try playing a different deck every week for a while, maybe then make it a little cyclical. Depends on how the format updates, especially with some new sets coming out, so we'll see how that does. If you're still here, if you've watched all this, just hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, I need the subscriber count to get to at least 500 first and 1,000. So I want to run polls so I can have people vote on what deck I'm playing that week. Because for a while, I'm not going to want to just choose arbitrarily. Because I'm like, hey, what haven't I played? So that's my goal. Until then, you'll probably have to like go on Twitter or something, but no one was really using Twitter there. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. I will probably upload another one next week. And if you really want to see vote on the deck, you can say something in the comments on what kind of deck you want to see. But the problem is I only have certain cards, and so I have to put, okay, here are the decks I can make, vote. So yeah, subscribe, help get toward that goal, and thanks for watching.